mismatched section and removes the damaged or mutant DNA. Although many cells in adult organisms are not actively dividing, they still need accurate instructions on how to function. Therefore, they need to detect and repair mutations introduced during replication or caused by environmental factors, such as mutagenic chemicals or radiation. Most mutations are known as mismatches because they consist of base pairs that cannot form hydrogen bonds, for example, adenine and cytosine. The process by which these mutations are repaired is known as excision repair. First, an enzyme recognizes the mismatch and binds to the DNA. It then breaks the sugar-phosphate bonds of the mismatched section and removes the damaged or mutant DNA. Next, DNA polymerase fills in the deleted DNA sequence. Finally, another enzyme forms sugar-phosphate bonds between the replacement piece and its neighboring nucleotides.
Okay, so that was, about DNA. Occasionally, when it's constructed through replication, there's a mistake, right? But it takes care of that, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so now we're going to get to the stages of mitosis. You guys with me? Everybody awake around here? So the cell cycle, one part of the cell cycle is mitosis, and we want to get in a little more depth to those particular stages. So first let's talk about the chromosome itself. So a lot of times when you guys look at chromosomes, you see them in the shape of an X. But this is already replicated, so what we did last time. So let's make sure we're still what we're looking at. So all this is a really long strand of DNA, supercoiled, condensed, it's also called, compact, organized. And here is the other really long strand on the other side. So when we think of an X where we take two lines and cross them, that model is not as good. It's one continuous line and another continuous line. They're being held together at the centromere. So has this, by the time it's an X chromosome, has the S phase already occurred? Yes. And so the test questions will be kind of tougher like that, where I don't say, with an X chromosome, the DNA is doubled, you need to know that. You need to know when it was doubled, which was back in the S phase. You need to know that when you're looking at the chromosomes, whether it's an X or it's already been split and it's back to its linear chromosome, that's just DNA supercoiled on itself. Okay, and you need to know that we can only see the chromosomes during mitosis, towards the end of prophase, because during prophase, that's when they're condensing and supercoiling, and now we could see them as an X. And then when we get to anaphase and they're being ripped apart, now we could see them as separate chromosomes and they're linear. They're just a line. Then they relax and uncoil, right, and get back to the double helix structure. There's tons of strands of DNA, and then we can't even see them. Now, the two sides are known as sister chromatids. You can see here. What the part where they're being held together is called the centromere. It's also part of it's called kinetochores. I don't think I require the kinetochores, but anyway, knowing that that's just the same area. And I just think of it as, like a paper clip. It's part of the chromosome that helps it attach and helps the two identical strands of DNA being held together, so they're nice and organized. Now, think back when you guys did your model yesterday. Can we say the blue one was the original DNA, and here's our new strand of DNA, the red one? Can I say that? Is that correct? Okay, remember semi-conservative replication? Half of the original half of the original DNA is now in this red chromosome, and half is in the blue. You guys remembering this? The way replication occurred? Yeah? You guys with me? You guys remember this? Okay, go back and go carefully over these figures in your book. And also, you're reminding me, too, that you guys, there's so much online that you guys could be utilizing. I've mentioned in the past a couple times, ClassZone.com. Go to that. There's free. Lots of interactive things. There's animations. It's under the interactive review, and you can see this occurring. Okay, yeah, maybe it's a different chapter. Maybe you got to look at a chapter name to find it. And then also, I'm hearing about the library stuff that's going right now, where all the different banks. One's called. Let me pause this. Okay, so it sounds like that I want you guys to revisit semi-conservative replication, because that's what is occurring here. Okay, so you do need to know your chromosome structure. They're each called sister chromatids when they're in the X, and they're exact what? Copies of the DNA. You guys understand? That red chromatid is an exact copy of the blue chromatid. They're being held together until they get separated. And this is just all about making sure that the new daughter cells get a complete copy of the DNA needed. Okay, so in mitosis, there's 4 steps. There's 4 phases. The first one is prophase, and you start to see the nuclear envelope breaking down, and then it vanishes. You see the spindle fibers forming, and you see the chromosomes are starting to appear because the chromatin is being supercoiled. Now, in the video, remember I told you, where's mine? Remember, in the video, it talked about prometaphase. I'm not worried about that. Prophase is a long phase. It takes time. As you can see, the B looks very different than the C. We're just going to group them all together as prophase. If you're curious, though, C would be prometaphase. It's moving on. It's getting closer to metaphase. The kinetochores, like I said, that's where the spindle fibers are going to attach to the chromosomes, and that attachment allows the chromosomes to be pushed just by the molecules basically being built so that they can retract and extend, and they can push and pull the chromosomes into the right position once they're attached at the kinetochores, which is where the centromere is. Okay, next stage, metaphase. I think this one's very simple to remember because it starts with M. Metaphase, the chromosomes are in the middle, okay? Here, D, I would still count as prophase. It's definitely prometaphase, but still, don't worry about it. I don't want to see any metaphases unless they're right there at the equator in the middle of the cell, okay? And they still don't always look that perfect, as you guys saw in the video, and you'll see today under the microscope. Okay, now anaphase, they're no longer X's. They've been ripped apart at their centromere, and they're moving. Now those spindle fibers are condensing or contracting, and they're pulling the individual chromosomes to their own side of the cell. Also, what reminds me, especially the drawn ones, it looks kind of like an A. Remember, the chromosomes are they're in fluid, so when they're being pulled, it's like the legs are dragging behind because they're being pulled from the middle. So that's why they take on that shape. Then the last one is telophase. And notice cytokinesis, really, the later part of telophase, cytokinesis has already started. So many times they're happening at the exact same time. Okay, the difference. Telophase is talking about the stage of the chromosomes where they are rebuilding the nucleus, because mitosis is division of the nucleus. Cytokinesis is division of the cell. So they're going to happen simultaneously. The nucleus is starting to reform, meanwhile the cell is splitting in half. Now, for animal cells, it's definitely like a pinching, and other fibers are pinching and pulling the membrane close together, kind of like if you were to pinch a balloon with your fingers and get it to squeeze down. That's how it pinches the cell apart. Remember the plant cells? They call that the builder wall, right? Because you got to build the wall there, and you can see that on today's slides also. Okay, now, this is kind of more of the why. Some of you are looking at these pictures like, who cares, okay? But this is very important to human beings because really of cancer. Cancer is when the cell cycle is not being regulated. The cell cycle is out of control. It keeps dividing. We keep getting more and more cells. We don't need them. If some of you guys did that extra credit on Cells Alive, if you haven't, go to cellsalive.com and you can see cancer cells under a microscope dividing. There's also bacteria dividing, which is called binary fission. I'm not going to worry about it right now. But some of you saw that if you did the extra credit. And if you didn't, go check it out. Or you can just search cancer cells live cameras or cameras, and you can see it. The cells are dividing uncontrollable. That's the definition of cancer. Cancer is, one of the top probably 3 diseases that humans are trying to fight, and we have to understand the cell cycle. Also, of course, cells build life, right? And we want to understand them just because of that reason alone, too. Okay, so what we have found so far is they have identified certain molecules that seem to go up and down in the cell cycle. Scientists figured this out because he was looking for proteins in cells, and all of a sudden he got a new protein. It's like, where'd this thing come from? And then he tried it again, and then it was gone. And then he started really trying to figure out, watching the cells as they developed, and he started testing them at different stages of their life, and realized that the cyclins follow a normal path. That's why they're called cyclins. They cycle. And what it is the cells have a lot of them at one time in the cell cycle, and then they seem to disappear. This kind of reminds me of the estrus cycle, or the menstruous cycle, for females. Same thing. You have your hormones that peak, or even when people are reproducing, having babies, right? Sometimes we need more or less chemicals. And that's what this is. Now, I just want to make sure you can recognize that cyclins control the cell cycle. I put a little bit more in here about kinases just to explain more. You don't need to know all those details. And you don't need to know all this, but I just want to show you how they disappear. So what happens is, form and function, the cyclins actually bond to this other molecule called kinases. And so when they're in this whole molecule that's bonded together, we can't recognize them anymore. Now there's this new molecule we can recognize. But then they will come apart when we need the cyclins to be elevated to tell the cell. So the cell has to have some signal, and it could be external, just touching another cell, but some sort of signal that says, hey, I need to divide. And then that increases the cyclin production, and the cyclin then gets all the other things to start happening, like getting the DNA to copy itself. Now, again, so what? Well, the deal is, wouldn't it be really cool if we could even bind these cyclins up and stop cells from dividing that we don't want to divide, like cancer cells. Does that make some sense? So, again, the more we understand, then the more, cures we can figure out, ways to stop things. Now, the other thing we're discovering is where all these checkpoints are. So during the life of the cell, if something's not going correctly to divide, the cell monitors that and says, oh, forget it, I'm just going to arrest right here. I'm not going to go on and divide. I didn't get my DNA copied correctly, so my 2 daughter cells are not going to be work anyway. If it's a real problems happen, the cell probably just goes through apoptosis, which is cell suicide basically, where the cell just starts breaking down and it's going to die. And then the components are used by other cells, kind of recycling. So there are several checkpoints. Once again, if we can understand these checkpoints, then we can also stop cancer cells. We have to realize cancer is the only disease where it's us. It's our cells that are the problem, not foreign cells, not like bacteria, not like viruses, right? This is our cells that are messed up and causing the disease. So it's very hard to fight our own self. Does that make some sense, you guys? All right, so definitely make sure you understand this. The cell cycle in general. You just need to know that there's checkpoints here and there. The spindles aren't working. We're not going to get, the chromosomes to the metaphase plate. We're not going to get them ripped apart, so it's just not going to work. And again, it's a cycle. G1, there's a mutation in the DNA. Well, let's not make baby cells from it, right? DNA, during synthesis, something happening with the DNA didn't copy correctly. Here it assesses it, and maybe the DNA seemed to copy correctly, but then it looked over, did it, and it checks it. And if it didn't, then it's not going to go through the rest of the cycle. And that we call them the G0 if they just arrest. Okay, so that's basically the lecture. I want to point these guys out so that